everybody, welcome to another episode of What a Hell of a Way to Dad. It is Francis, and with me I have Blue Skies Lauren, the rotating sandwiches person who makes us all incredibly hungry when we skipped over our lunches at work. Lauren, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I am also hungry for lunch.
So you didn't grab anything beforehand?
No, I figure you got to be hungry to podcast. You gotta, yeah.
You can't talk sandwiches like if you're not desiring one at the moment. All I've had is my coffee and a couple of fig bars, and I'm thinking about that sliced turkey that I have in the refrigerator right now.
There you go. I did arguably already have one sandwich today for breakfast. I don't know. Not everyone agrees like yogurt marinated chicken on a pita is a sandwich, but it is. I would call it as such.
See, and we're going to get into that. We're going to dive into what exactly a sandwich is. I know that it is a eternal debate on the internet, but I feel confident in our abilities to settle the debate here once and for all. Nobody ever needs to argue about it again.
Definitively correct. We will solve the question for all time.
Exactly. So let's kind of start with where you came up with the idea for the rotating sandwiches. It seems like you work in an office and you work on the East Coast. So you're in a big city, and you have a lot of sandwich options around, don't you?
I do, yeah. I live in Washington, D.C. I think part of the project, a small part of it was, I feel like D.C. is not appreciated enough as a food town. We actually do have a pretty good, like, working class friendly food culture outside of like the places you think of. Like DC for a long time did not have a great food scene. It was mostly like what I think of as like expense account restaurants for lawyers or government people to like treat clients on a graph level. Yeah.
It costs like $7 to $10 more per meal because you're expensing it somewhere. So everything's like the prices are jacked up because you're probably not paying out of pocket.
Exactly. Yeah. But like DC now does in 2025 have like some really good options for, Ethiopian, Peruvian, more and more Latin American food across the board. And also a bunch of really great sandwich options, some of which go back, have been open for 60 or 70 years. That the city kind of relies on outside of the political freaks that kind of dominate the conversation about us.
Yeah, you don't really hear too much about DC because it is, you guys are the central city. You're a city state. Weirdly enough too.
Right.
And it's just kind of like you consider it to be this rotating cavalcade of politicians and people who support politicians, but there's actual normal people that live in DC as well. And yeah, there's this whole, every city has that, right? Every city has those little kind of hole in the wall sandwich places that get overlooked, and you get some really great sandwiches there. I mean, I would argue that it's kind of hard to fuck up a sandwich. It's basic. Some bread and some things. Now, certainly you can make bad sandwiches and good sandwiches, but
it's a high floor food fundamentally.
Yeah, I mean, everybody understands the basics of it. Although, and that's the thing, we're going to have our divides here, but the basics are 2 slices of bread and then something on the in between, whether that be some kind of spread or protein or what have you. I
think the spread is very important to acknowledge as part of like the historical origin of the sandwich, where like the original sandwiches, as we understand them in like the Western canon, was like a pate or spread, like closer to like an egg or ham, like meat salad than a lot of the sandwiches we have today. To your point, I do contest the 2 defined pieces of bread because then you're cutting out a lot of open-faced sandwiches. And I get a lot of emails from the Rotating Sandwiches website from people all over the world who are like, can you please spotlight my favorite choripan sandwich from Brazil? Can you please spotlight, my favorite thing, like weird, horrific smoked fish sandwich from Norway? And I don't want to discriminate against the Baltic countries by ruling out open-faced sandwiches. They're big on those.
I can understand that. Now, are you trying to create sandwiches? Like if somebody says, hey, I'm going to send you some lutefisk, can you put it on a sandwich and eat it? Or are you kind of keeping yourself like, look, I have these options. Until there is a Swedish sandwich deli store or whatever that opens up in my neighborhood, I'm not going to be able to eat that. Or are you trying to reconstruct some things?
It's definitely more the latter. I've gone out of my way to make a couple sandwiches myself, but for the most part, it's local restaurants. There is actually a pretty good Nordic like deli type restaurant in DC called Miko. So I do have like an open-faced I have 2 sandwiches from them on there. I have an open-faced cold salmon sandwich that was pretty good. Then I also have I controversially put hot dogs on there just to give myself more options. I'm definitively solving. I run the website. I get to decide what a sandwich is, and I say hot dog's a sandwich. We're getting that one out of the way. But they do the Swedish hot dog with the shrimp Skagen salad on top, which is not everyone's favorite thing, but I think it's pretty good.
What is the Skagen salad?
It's a shrimp salad, like you would like an egg or a ham salad. salad made with very small little baby shrimp.
Okay.
And it's cold, it's
Okay.
savory, I think it's delicious. Not everyone's cup of tea.
I can understand. Look, because I mean, the sandwich can be. I wanted to talk sandwiches because they are very kind of dad coded on a basic level. Like I mean, it was created by a guy who didn't want to stop gambling. Hey, Earl of Sandwich, let's stop gambling for like 20 minutes and go to the eating table. And he said, "What if we made these two things the same thing?" And
True.
he just got me some bread and a plate. And that is very, hey, I don't have time for this nonsense. Just grab a sandwich and let's go. And I've always been a very, I don't want to say meat and potatoes, but a working class sandwich. I don't do a whole lot of extenuous toppings and things like that on top of it. A club sandwich is about, like, for a regular lunch, like a Tuesday lunch, that's about what I'm looking for. But I will get a little, like, if it's dinner time, if you got a crazy sandwich going on, I might try that one out.
That, I think, is the dad-coded element to a lot of this, is there is a sort of subdued decadence to sandwich culture a lot of the times, where you'll see like the monstrosity of like half a pound of salami on something, half a pound of corned beef, like classic Reuben. Like that is very dad-coded in my mind. Taking it to that level of it's still fundamentally constrained by what you can hold in two hands, but you're going to do as much as you can in that space when it's time to go all out.
Yeah, one of my favorites, and by favorites I mean it's horrible and disgusting, is anytime I'm in Indiana, I get the pork tenderloin sandwich.
Ooh,
Right. So what they do is you take this pork, like you fry a pork patty. And the pork patty is like 12 to 14 inches across. Like it's a fucking monstrosity. And like this was not sliced off of a pig in this shape. This is a mass formed and then shoved into this other form and then deep fried and then put on top of like the cheapest white bun that you can find with a little bit of mayonnaise. And it's a whole thing. Like it's a whole thing in Indiana. It's like, oh, get the big stupid sandwich. Completely bland and tasteless, unworthy of any real regard. But I do suggest everybody gets it, because if you're going to experience Indiana, you should experience the entire thing, and that includes the terrible food as well.
Yes, that's actually on my short list. There's several sandwiches that I can't get here that are like regional staples of America. I'm kind of like past the point now where I'm still adding new sandwiches to the site just because it costs a lot to buy sandwiches these days.
Sure. Sandwiches. I think you could do like we could plan like a U.S. tour for you, like just leaving D.C. and we'll bring you to St. Louis because you can get a brain sandwich here.
Brain sandwich is on my short list.
You can get a brain sandwich. Springfield, Illinois has the horseshoe sandwich, which is a open-faced burger smothered with fries and gravy. So that's an absolute need. I'm sure that the Appalachians have some kind of roadkill in between two pieces of bread that you can try.
Several.
Yeah. So I feel like we take this on the road. You need a Patreon when you start funding this. Lauren travels. Lauren out to lunch.
Believe me, I've thought about it. The logistics of turning this into something that actually makes money is always daunting to consider. But a Runza is the other big one that I've always wanted to get to.
What's that one?
The Runza is where it's the same place they play the College World Series. But it's like a tube of meat. Is probably the shortest way to put it. I've thought about actually ordering them online, but it's like $90 to get a crate of them shipped, and it's not really. It's like are you familiar with the Costco? What's it called? Chicken bake.
Yes, I am.
It's a chicken bake, but with like ground beef, onion, and like savory seasoning in like a heartier dough, in case dough. It's actually closer to what Costco does in Japan. Instead of the chicken bake, they do with like a beef. It's basically a Japanese runza.
I mean, it sounds like we're getting into calzone area here. Or does that does that still fall underneath the sandwich umbrella?
I would not include calzones. I think this is closer to a well-constructed wrap.
Okay, so once it seals, that's a problem. Once they're like, if you have two pieces of bread or one piece of bread, as long as there's openings on the side, it's fine. But as soon as we seal the outer envelope, the packaging, as you would, no longer becomes a sandwich. Good. We're getting lines of delineation here. I
don't want to create a Schrodinger sandwich situation there where it's not a sandwich until you bite into it and then it is a sandwich.
Right. I understand, but the end goal of a burrito is a wrapped burrito. Like maybe an open burrito could be arguable, but if you go to Qdoba and you get that fully wrapped one, whether you're cutting into it or biting into it, you're still receiving something that is fully encased. So I think at that point we have a wrap.
And I don't necessarily want to get too caught up in that specific like question of burritos, because I think it distracts from the pretty interesting tradition of tortas themselves, which is kind of underappreciated in a lot of the whiter parts of the U.S.
Yeah, the Mexican torta is really nice. Let's answer some questions from the Discord. Why is the Philly cheesesteak the greatest sandwich to ever be created? Wait, what do you fall on a Philly?
Even Philadelphia people will say it's the second tier sandwich of the city.
What's the first one?
It's the pork with broccoli rabe.
Okay.
Which is a great sandwich. Porchetta and broccoli rabe. They got a name for it. I forget the name. That's the one I've actually rotated. I've never actually done a Philly cheesesteak on the website because it's just very hard to transport without like those. There's a certain slop factor to sandwiches that prevent them from rotating cleanly.
You can't spin it too fast, otherwise you're going to have sliced meat all over the inside of your photo booth. I get it.
Both that and transporting it from, because one of my rules for myself is I don't take the kit on the go. That's I can't be seen doing that in public. That's too weird. So it's got to be able to get to my apartment, and I've never found a cheesesteak that can handle that.
That's what's holding you back. I always feel that with a cheesesteak, like a cheesesteak is like chicken and dumplings. Like too many people have too many different ways of making it, and I feel like with a cheesesteak, if you put one down, you're just gonna get a bunch of "that's not a cheesesteak" messages. Like you're not doing this, that, or the other thing. I'll tell you, the grilled cheese subreddit is very adamant about that. That a grilled cheese is 2 pieces of bread and some cheese in the middle, and anything else is
absolutely out.
And they're correct. They're right. I mean,
I do agree with
don't hate on Reddit for being right.
No, that's one of the that's like an old subreddit beef that I've made a respectful distance from for that reason.
Now, so why do people keep trying to use non-bread things as buns so you can't hold a sandwich anymore? How do you feel about non-bread bun sandwiches?
I have conflicting feelings about it because I did spend a lot of my life doing like low carb dieting that didn't always work great for me, but it's like I understand the desire to have it all. If you're living that non-grain based lifestyle due to gluten intolerance or dieting, whatever, it's not necessarily a pleasant way to live. So I think if they want to do like a lettuce wrap or something, live and let live.
How about that KFC Double Down? Did you ever get one of those?
I have eaten a distressing number of Double Downs in my time. That's like there's been this thing going around recently of like articles and studies saying a hot dog takes like X number of minutes off of your life. Like it's using the hot dog as an analogy for processed food more generally. I think it's the Double Down that I really want to know the stats on there because I think I'm losing like 6 or 7 months for each one of those I had.
I mean, you healthy it up, just make it grilled chicken. I mean, it's chicken and bacon and a little bit of cheese, right? Like that's not.
I'm not going to do that though. I'm not. No, you're. No,
I get it.
Wrong.
It messes with the whole. It messes like when I'm biting into a sandwich. I have an expectation of a texture profile and just being like, here's 2 meat patties stacked on top of it. It'd be like stripping all the bread out of a Big Mac, And
yes, exactly. Which I've also done. It's not pleasant.
No, what are you doing to yourself there? All right. So we've talked about sandwiches and open face sandwiches, but what's the delineation between an open face sandwich and a pizza? Or when does it become a flatbread? I guess when it goes into an oven.
Yeah, there's definitely an oven element to it. I think a pizza or a flatbread is going to have some kind of base applied to the bread that's different from just putting some mayonnaise on there, like a marinara or a cheese, if it's like a Flammkuchen situation. I think also there's an open face sandwich is traditionally going to come on a slice of bread rather than a flatbread.
It's true. You are going to have more of a conventional sandwich bread rather than a flatbread. So I see now we're crossing borders about like, because if I take flatbread and put rice and chicken on top of it, doesn't make it a sandwich.
Well, there's an interesting comparison here. There's a restaurant in the DC region called Spice 9. It's like a Chipotle style, go down the counter, build your entree restaurant, but it's Indian food, street food, and they will do a roti pizza or wrap, which is basically the same thing. It's a flatbread that you put different orders of stuff on top of. And the difference between the flatbread and the pizza is like that layer of like tikka masala sauce they put on top. And the definition comes down to what you, the consumer, do with it. If you pick it up and hold it curve-wise, it becomes a pita. If you leave it flat, it becomes a pizza.
Right. And really, I know that we're looking for delineations here, but it's all in fun. Because if you take a New York style piece of pizza, you eat it unrolled, it's a pizza, but then you roll it up and then it's a burrito. So, there's a lot of different definitions that we can have here. Lauren, I want to ask you about your setup though. So, how do you rotate the sandwich? Do you have like a little motor that you put them on? Like, what's your?
I can get pretty granular with that.
You get home, and how long does it take? Between because me, I get home with a sandwich, I'm hungry. So like, do you have like I got 5 minutes and then I'm gonna eat the sandwich?
It can be a pretty quick turnaround. I use it's a rotating jewelry display case, which is just a little, you can get them on like Amazon for like $15. And it's meant for like display stores. You put a little, ring or necklace on it and it turns slowly. And you can control the speed it rotates at. And then I've got a traditional photography light. My background's photo and video work. So this is all just kind of part of why I could do this is organically. I had most of the equipment already. And it's a small light box like you would if you were selling anything on eBay regularly. And then I set that up next to my desk where I've got a Sony a7S II digital mirrorless camera with a 24 to 70 millimeter lens on it. I'm usually shooting 70 millimeters. I go for I think I find a longer focal length looks nicer. I do usually a 2-panel light setup in addition to the light box, which is providing the overhead light. And I will generally shoot like 2 or 3 minutes if the sandwich is, steady and clean. And from that, I can cut it down in, first I do Premiere Pro for color grading and correction. And I will tweak the dimensions a little bit as needed. I'll then export that into Adobe After Effects, which has a really great rotoscoping program, which has actually over the course of doing the rotating sandwiches thing, gotten a lot better to the point where when I was starting out, it was a lot of like frame by frame painting out the background. Mm-hmm. But the last couple, you just press the button, you define the loose outlines of the sandwich, and it'll nail it, like first or second try, with a little bit of tweaking, usually for shredded lettuce, which is my long-standing nightmare ingredient.
Does that not translate very well?
No, the rotoscoping program absolutely hates picking up. Like if you actually go to rotating sandwiches and really look at any sandwich with shredded lettuce, you'll notice that's where all the artefacting and like disappearing, reappearing bits are. But yeah, for the last step from there is I take it into Photoshop and export that as a GIF.
Oh wow! So you got a lot going on here. This is no like quick fly by night setup. But I mean, like in the beginning,
when I was starting out, it was like maybe like an hour or two of like mostly in the Premiere stage, like really finagling with each like frame. But honestly, I think I've got it down to maybe 10 to 15 minutes.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
No, and the nice thing about it is I usually only rotate half the sandwich. So if I am hungry, I can just eat the other half as I'm doing this.
Right. Sometimes they very kindly cut it in half so you can eat half and then rotate the other half. And how far have you traveled so far for one of your rotating sandwiches? Like specifically, I'm going out for this sandwich for the website.
It's usually just I've overlapped on other vacations. I cat sat for a friend in Brooklyn a couple years ago, so there's a handful of New York sandwiches in there. I visit family in Arizona, and that's where I got like the In-N-Out sandwich on there, and I did a Whataburger at one point because I always really liked that green chili burger they got there. But that's about it. I would love to visit LA. LA is like got a half dozen iconic sandwich places I'd love to shoot. Langer's, all the little hot dog places, but I haven't really ever. Seattle's also on my short list of places I'd really like to go again because just like a vibrant part of the country that has a very different sandwich culture from what the East Coast offers. And but fair number of places in the Midwest I wouldn't mind hitting up too. Yeah,
we've got one place called Crown Candy that has a BLT that's about 3 inches tall.
Oh, perfect.
And it's very. They also have one of those food challenges where you have to drink like 5 malted milkshakes in one sitting, which seems, I get it, but like that seems like the thing that you're gonna have to clean the most vomit up of, or maybe it's easier to clean up that than like a burger or something. I don't know. I don't have
just
to do
liquid.
the cleanup. I wouldn't want to have to do any of those.
Very much glad it's not my problem.
Yeah.
BLT was a funny one though. It was one of the last ones I did, the most recent ones I made, and I did it because some teacher somewhere just anonymously emailed me and said, "Hey, my class of kids, like third graders, has written a song about BLTs and they like your website. Do you have like a BLT GIF we can like play on the screen while they sing their song at like their student chorus?" And you can't not do that.
You can't, right. You can't like, no, but I need to rectify that immediately.
Exactly. So I rotated the sandwich and sent it to her. And I was kind of upset because she never got back to me to tell me what the lyrics of the song about BLTs were.
She should have sent you a video. Like, I mean, I feel like you should have at least gotten to hear the song being performed with your, like, I mean, this is, the smashing together of two artists together.
Yeah.
You should be a part of it. You should also be on the end credits. After,
I want to see the collab. Yeah.
Right. I want to see the program. Make sure that, rotating-sandwiches.com is properly annotated.
Exactly. But you also got to remember you can't be the weirdo adult making demands of school children. So
look, I'm just saying I think you got a case. All right, let's take another question from the Discord. Top 5 mustards. We talked about spreads. Let's talk, let's talk about what you like to smear. I'm a big mayonnaise fan myself.
Same. Also, I do not understand people who dislike mayonnaise. I get it if it's like an allergy thing or if you had a bad childhood experience. Mayonnaise is great.
Sure, but it's got to be aioli. We got to have aioli.
Exactly.
We don't use mayonnaise anymore. We use aioli.
But I think my favorite mustard is actually one that I don't put on sandwiches, and that's Chinese hot mustard. Like, I think that is legitimately the best mustard in the world.
Is that one of your dipping mustards?
Not one of my dipping mustards. That is a special occasion breaking out the dumplings mustard.
Oh, okay.
I think sandwich mustards, I do really like the British stuff, that really punchy option. And I think right behind that, I've got to go with the Creole mustard. I grew up in New Orleans. Can't get enough of Creole mustard.
Yeah, I do have like a love for the French's yellow mustard.
Oh, sure.
Just because but I have a stone ground mustard and a horseradish mustard that's really good.
Horseradish mustard is a must. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one. I made a potato salad with that, and I didn't use enough mustard. I need to put more horseradish in it next time. We're a family that gets very congested, so we need to clear it out every once in a while with a spoonful of horseradish.
Absolutely. This is actually weird. I have a tangential question about St. Louis.
Sure. Okay.
I have a friend from the Pittsburgh area who was really big into ham salad. Do you ever see ham salad in your part of the Midwest?
We do have ham salad. It is more of a northern thing, I think, northern Midwest. We are Missouri sits in a weird place where we're kind of Midwest, but not really. But a lot of the like mayonnaise-based and meat-based spreads like that are a lot of that is Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan kind of areas. Not to like be like, oh, we would never. I mean, absolutely, I will put mustard on, or I'll put mayonnaise on anything. But those kinds of things, you'll see those more up north.
That makes sense. I do think ham salad is a bit underrated. People are very turned off by the idea, but if they give it a shot, I think they'd appreciate it as much as you would like a tuna salad or egg salad.
Well, and I think, we can talk texture too about the sandwich, because when you have something that's like that, kind of a loose meat versus, what my preferred sandwich is something that is sliced meat. I actually bought a meat slicer.
Nice.
Ollie's.
Living the dream. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a cheap little one. I got it for like $50, but I get a big honking thing of turkey and slice it down and freeze whatever I don't want to use.
I totally get it.
Yeah, that loose kind of, like, I don't mind a sloppy Joe, but it's never going to be my first. Like, I don't like things that are going to ooze out the side if I bite too hard. And and I know that, like, the integrity and structure of a ham salad and a tuna salad versus a sloppy Joe is different. But the possibility is there, and that's always just kind of ugh to me.
Well, this is kind of the yin and the yang of the sandwich to me. Because that on the one hand, there's this element to them of excess, of making the big floppy, messy, like nightmare sandwich that is going all out. But like fundamentally, it's a way of cutting down on the like expensive ingredients.
Sure.
And like a spread is like the fundamental, like bare bones, like an egg salad sandwich is like reducing the sandwich to its most structurally simplified.
Get it down to that and yeah, I mean, if you're going to make the ham last a little bit longer if you chop it up and hold it together with some mayonnaise.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's my pitch for like spread sandwiches in particular.
Yeah. I do like an egg salad sandwich on occasion when we have those in. It's just when it comes to a sandwich that I can buy versus a sandwich that I'm going to make, there's also a huge, difference there. Like, I don't necessarily want to make myself an egg salad sandwich, but I will, get one from somebody who's just like, look, we've been making this sandwich for 5 years. We know what we're doing with the sandwich.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, right,
especially if it's like, especially if you're getting into like the egg sando situation. I've gotten a lot of requests do like Japanese sandwiches, but obviously no one's paying me to go to Japan to do this, or they'd be all over the place. If anyone does want to do that, I will add 25 new sandwiches to the site tomorrow if you want to pay for like a 2-week vacation to Tokyo.
I'm telling you, Lauren goes to lunch. We're going to make it happen. We're going to get this going. You're going to be able to quit your corporate job and eat brain sandwiches across the world.
That's living the dream. That's for a good 15 years before I get gout. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me ask you something. So when you're, I'm not going to ask you like, what's your favorite sandwich, right? Because that's like asking a cinephile what their favorite movie is. It depends.
Who's your favorite
Depends on the
child?
mood.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I can answer that one. Most parents can. They don't want. I only have one, so it's easy. But I know that I'm the favorite of my family. Mm-hmm. But it's currently like weather here in St. Louis is sunny. It's not ungodly hot. But when you're coming into like fall and you're getting fall weather, the leaves are falling, the cherry blossom. When did the cherry blossoms go in DC?
It's like early. Honestly, I don't really do the cherry blossom thing too often. It's like April, May usually.
Okay, so that's a spring
Climate
thing.
change also fucks with it. Yeah.
Sure, but these changes of the seasons, do your sandwiches change too? Like, I mean, I would think I would love a club sandwich in August, but I'm not gonna really want one deep in January.
I definitely do eat burgers more in the summer because you're grilling, you're chilling. Like sandwiches that are like seasonal is tricky. Yeah, I don't do a lot of hot sandwiches. This is maybe controversial. I prefer cold sandwiches most of the time, but I think it is. Yeah,
it's a speed thing. Like, I don't just give me the sandwich. You don't have to cook it. It's a sandwich.
It's also what I grew up on. Like, I'm old enough to have grown up on Subway before they put in the toasters.
I grew up on the round bologna meat and and white bread. That was my and a single slice of American cheese and some mayonnaise, and that's lunch for me.
Absolutely.
What do you stand on sides? Like for chips, do you think that chips is a good, or I mean, again, I feel like it depends on the sandwich.
It definitely does depend on the sandwich. Here. I think like a burger and fries is iconic. But fries with like an Italian hoagie would feel kind of weird.
And some places do. And, I do love good French fries. A lot of times when I go to a restaurant, I'll be checking out other people's meals to see what kind of fries they use. Because, there's some that it's like, ooh, I'm excited about that. And there's some that's like, that doesn't have to be my first choice. I can get something else.
Absolutely.
I'm at that point now where in my 40s, it's like, I need to make sure what kind of French fries you have before I order them.
Totally. I think that to that point, a little bit, undefeated side for any sandwich is a kosher dill pickle.
Ooh, yeah. I was long time I didn't eat pickles, and I have done a full 180. Cuban sandwich is one of my favorite sandwiches. I love the dill pickle spear, and some just like basic Lay's potato chips.
Oh yeah,
because I'm the freak that likes to put potato chips on my sandwich sometimes.
No, I think we're well into that like infusion territory now where that's socially acceptable now.
My wife still gives me the side eye when she sees me doing it. I think it's because she doesn't, just like, here's my sandwich, now it's crunchy. Like, but for me, that's why I like it. I like to have it's just a texture thing, is I just like there to be a crunch inside of it.
I know multiple restaurants in the DC area now where there's multiple items on the menu that are dedicated like chip sandwiches, where that's like a fundamental ingredient to the menu item.
I think that's just like a British thing too. It's just like,
well, yeah, like
potato
the crisp,
chips in between.
The crisp,
the crisp sandwich.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Which I am online's #1 defender of British food, which is controversial. Obviously, it's not all great, but they have a lot more good stuff than people give them credit for on the internet. And I think the Chip Buddy is in that like poverty food area where I try not to make fun of it because most people eating that are not having a great time generally.
Right. You're not eating that because you're choosing to eat that. You're eating that because that's what you got.
Right.
We should bring you our poverty sandwich here in St. Louis is the St. Paul sandwich, which is
on my bucket list. Believe me.
Yeah. Okay. Good. See, I've got plenty of places. You just come to St. Louis, I'll fill you full of sandwiches. What's your go-to fast sandwich place? Like the Subways, the Quiznos, the Firehouse, things like that.
For me, it's this local chain. Not a chain. They have like five locations. It's pretty small, called a Arepa Zone, and they do a bunch of.
That sounds familiar.
Well, arepas are pretty well known at this point, I think.
Okay.
And it's a sandwich on the what's the word I'm thinking of for the bread type, on like a little. Sorry, I'm blanking on the term here.
What kind of other sandwich would you compare it to?
It's like a South American pita kind of. It's this.
Okay.
Arepa Zone is Venezuelan.
Ooh, okay.
But it's a flatbread that they stuff with a bunch of different things. My favorite is usually the avocado chicken salad, but they also do like a really good like roasted pork. And they also have these, I'm not sure if the rest of the country is onto this tech yet, but patacones, I'm probably butchering the pronunciation, is an enormous sandwich that's twice smashed and fried plantain for each of the buns.
For the buns, okay.
And they just load up with like beef or chicken, queso fresco, cilantro, like garlic sauce, salsa, coleslaw, and it's like this. It's the size of your head. It's like approaching that like smashed pork patty sandwich in terms of just volume. And that's like, it's also one of the best deals in DC. Like I do a very like Scrandle type balance in my head of like value for the dollar as part of all this calculation. And they start at like $15, which for DC is great.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, and that's
sandwich.
Like one thing that my wife and I, because my father-in-law does this all the time, is you go out to eat and you eat half of your food and then you comment about how you're going to save the rest of it for lunch and what a deal you're getting.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I do feel that way now. Like there are some times when I'm hungry and I'll house everything that I eat, but like America just gives you so much food now, and a lot of times it's too much, and you just want to take it home.
I think that's actually key to the American psyche. Is that we are peoples who feel the need to get a deal.
Yeah, everybody wants a deal. Everybody wants to say, look at what I got for X amount of money.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be a great deal. It just has to elicit like the feeling that you're getting one over a little bit on a business or corporation.
Pings your endorphins a little bit to get a big bag of crap from Temu that's going to end up in the landfill in a year anyway. Exactly.
And food is like the least, because if you're actually going to eat it and not commit food waste, it's the healthiest way to exercise that perverse desire in all of our brains.
So here's a question, and this one doesn't do anything for me because I don't know anything about it. Wawa or Sheetz?
We do have Wawa here in DC. I have not been to a Sheetz. I can say Wawa. Actually, I'll defer to my co-host Steven on this. My podcast is Background Baseball Podcast. He is a Philadelphia native. He taught me that the key to like ordering at Wawa is to not necessarily get the sandwich. It's to get the horrific half mac and cheese, half mashed potato bowl with chicken tenders on top.
Oh,
it's insanely good. The sandwiches are fine. They have like a pretty decent
shit out of that. Yeah.
Yeah. They have like a decent Italian sub. I've tried a fair number of them because it's like a convenient, like walking home from workplace. But yeah, I will defend Wawa as a legitimate top tier convenience store food.
I haven't been to either. We have our big one here is Quick Trip. Down south, they have Buc-ee's, and we've got Wally's, which is kind of a Buc-ee's. I don't want to say knockoff. I don't know who was first, but there's definitely more Buc-ee's. There's only two Wally's, but it's the same concept. Gigantic gas station.
Yeah, Wawa I think is actually smaller than the Buc-ee's I've been to. Buc-ee's is like going into a theme park in my experience.
Yeah, it is. And Wally's, not Wawa. Wally's is the same way. But like arguing over gas station food just never, like I can't imagine one is better than the other except for insane people. Just because every time I get food at a gas station, it is simply like, these are calories. This is certainly the thing. And look, I like Quick Trip. They have like the little roller things, and I like to get an egg roll and a bag of chips and a soda for a light lunch. And I feel healthy because there's vegetables inside of the egg roll. But I know I'm eating garbage. Like, it's fine.
Yeah, it is kind of damning with fake praise.
Argue about here.
To say that something is the best gas station food is there's a ceiling there.
Yeah, and even when you're at that ceiling, you're not impressing me that much. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, I really love a big, clean gas station because that is, I have been in plenty of them that were not, and that were incredibly inconvenient stores instead of convenience stores. And I will stop at a Quick Trip just because I know the bathrooms will be a lot cleaner than your average gas station. But,
for sure.
Yeah, it's still all roller dogs, man. It's all the same.
I can't take
it's all the same garbage.
I'm in driving distance from the city of Philadelphia, and they will travel to hurt me if I'm too critical. So I can't say too much bad about Wawa.
No, I understand. I love Philadelphia. I've spent a couple days in Philadelphia on more than one occasion, and if I was ever going to live somewhere that wasn't St. Louis, I feel Philadelphia is like spiritually as close. It's like everybody like. Well, I don't know.
They would hate to hear that so much. Oh, I think you're cooking with something there. I think if your goal is to antagonize Philadelphians on the internet, that's a great way to go.
Well, see, that's the thing. I know about Philadelphia, but Philadelphians don't know anything about St. Louis, so I'm the only one that can say anything because nobody from Philadelphia has ever been to St. Louis. Because why would you? I mean, we got brain sandwich. You can have that.
Oh, sure. I am much less critical of the Cardinals fans than most baseball podcasters. I sympathize.
You shouldn't be. We're garbage. What's the most cursed sandwich you've seen?
That's tricky. And
I guess what would define cursed? Like something that just looks like hell but was absolutely delicious?
I think it's got to be something that like you had very high expectation or hopes for, and then it turned out pretty miserable.
Let's do both.
Yeah. Most hopes. One of my favorite spots in DC is called Bub and Pops. It's a family joint. It's actually owned by an old Philadelphian couple, and they do a really good tuna salad hoagie. Everything you do on the menu is great. If you go to rotating sandwiches, I think there's more Bub and Pop sandwiches than anything else on there, including the first one is I always keep right at the top. They're Italian Hero. They're one of the best sandwiches I've ever had. But the one time I got the tuna melt, it was just smashed into oblivion by the time I got it home.
Ooh.
And I still ate it. And it was just like more like eating like a tuna salad than anything else. But that was a letdown.
That's what always concerns me about, like, I don't like getting something and transporting it because a burger inside of a styrofoam container or any container for like 10, 15 minutes, it's going to be giving off that steam and, you're going to lose a lot of your bread's going to fall apart. Basically, you're going to lose structure there. I think is what infrastructure week is not happening inside of your styrofoam container.
No, steam is like your number one enemy. I think that also leads me to actually the most cursed sandwich I think I ever had was really unfortunately one of the only sandwiches I've ever been paid to rotate. I was approached by an ad agency that represented Subway, and they
was this. I guess this is post Jared fame. They're trying to get back their mojo. We need spinning sandwiches.
Very much so, and I appreciated that they were this was like all through my very small TikTok account where I had like 1,000 followers or something. But they wanted me to rotate a couple sandwiches. And they could not, and they were very nice people. They couldn't find a Subway franchisee that would let me shoot in the building. So we had to figure out a way to rush them back to my place. And just even a few minutes on a hot summer day, the mayonnaise just ruined it. Subway corporate I don't think went for it because it was just slightly too glossy, slightly too loose, and it really threw everything off.
That's crazy. That Subway corporate couldn't strong arm a franchisee to be like, no, just let her be in here for 20 minutes to take this picture.
I mean, one
what are you
table.
talking about?
Yeah, no,
There's nobody in there eating. Like, there's nobody ever sitting at the tables like, oh, I'm enjoying my Subway sandwich here. Like,
and I would have gone like after hours. I would have figured out some way to make it work, but it just didn't. Very unfortunate, all things considered. And I always felt like I let him down a little bit.
Wow, that's okay. It's Subway. I'm a big fan of, I guess, Jersey Mike's, and you're not supposed to like Jimmy John's because their CEO is an insane person. But unfortunately, Jimmy John's is pretty good sandwiches. So
yeah, I have a theory about that we can come back to. Yeah,
and like I'm not saying like fuck those animals. I eat Jimmy John's all the time. I don't. But like when it comes to the fast sandwiches, a thing that I'm never searching out anyway. Jimmy John's is always, I guess, on the top of that list. But go, what's your theory on Jimmy John's?
Oh, it's more encompassing than just Jimmy John's. I do, on some level, fundamentally believe that the more reactionary the owner of a small restaurant is, the better the food's going to be.
I don't know, because Papa John's pizza sucks.
Papa John's sucks. That's true. That's
Papa
the outlier.
John's is crazy, I guess. Yeah.
Compared to Domino's, I still think it clears. But generally speaking, the nuttier the beliefs of the guy selling you the hot dog, the better that hot dog is going to hit.
That is unfortunately true, especially when it comes to these kinds of street foods. All right, let's see. One last question. So you're a Costco aficionado.
Big time,
Eating a few Costco hot dogs, I assume?
Yes. They need to bring back the combo pizza, yes.
The combo pizza. Are you also still lamenting the loss of the onion?
Every day. Yeah, I don't actually get to go to Costco too often anymore since I got rid of my car. It's just not super convenient to DC.
Sure.
But losing the onion crank was how I knew COVID was serious. That was my like NBA guy at the microphone coughing in the reporter's face moment.
Yeah, canary in the coal mine is when the onions went away. And now Costco's all switched over to Coke, so they're making all kinds of changes.
That I think I'm glad of. I do.
Yeah.
I do think Pepsi enjoyers are insane.
Yeah, I don't stop drinking the battery acid, guys.
Yeah.
Lauren, thank you so much for your time. Plug your podcast and your website.
Oh, of course, yeah. The podcast is Batting Around. We picked the most niche subject possible for an LGBT podcast. It's a baseball podcast. We goof. We usually end up talking about sandwiches at least some percent of it every episode because we can't help ourselves. And then the website's rotating-sandwiches.com. I make no money off of it. It's mostly an excuse for bored school children to goof off in class, which I'm honored to have created for them. But yeah, and don't follow me on Blue Sky. You're not going to get anything out of following me on Blue Sky.
Creating a net positive for people in the world by giving them rotating sandwiches.
Exactly. Yeah. I wasted a lot of time in middle school looking at weird websites, and I'm glad I get to carry on that tradition.
Lauren, thank you so much. Everybody, thank you for listening. Follow Lauren on Blue Sky, even if she tells you not to. She's very funny. Check out her rotating sandwiches. And also, I am not much of a baseball fan, but I do love people who talk about baseball. My wife gets very confused because I don't talk sports. I don't watch sports, but recently my daughter wanted she wanted the Super Bowl on. And so I'm watching it and commenting and expressing disgust at things, at plays. And my wife is like, who are you? What is this? I'm like, look, I grew up in a sports household. I understand it. I just like every time I turn on a Cardinals game, I'm inundated with like the worst ads ever. And I just don't want to watch it anymore. So
that is another dad thing, is you can just turn on those latent sports watching genes.
Yeah, I can. What I like to do is go across the river to the Frontier League, where you can $2 Tuesdays, $2 to get in, $2 beers, $2 hot dogs, and I can watch a baseball game I don't care about.
Oh, hell yeah. That's a perfect afternoon.
Perfect. Lauren, thank you so much. Everybody, thank you for listening, and we will talk to you next week.